We are now going to look at voice tracking in the studio computer. You're sitting in the studio, you've been doing a program and you want to voice track further down the playlist or in the next hour's playlist. Put some voice tracks in so that you can leave the studio for some reason or other. Now the studio computer can actually do two things at once. It can be busy playing a program. Now for the purpose of this exercise I can't show you it actually playing the program because of the way it's set up in this test setup, but we'll assume that it's playing up the top end of the playlist here, and at the same time we can record a voice track further down. Now to record a voice track we need to take notice of a few things. First of all, the announcer's microphone is the only microphone we will be using, and it is the only one connected up to the remote voice tracker. So the announcer's microphone is actually live all the time directly into the computer, but it doesn't do anything because the normal station playlist doesn't pick up audio from the microphone. The microphone's fed into the desk. The guest microphone has no effect at all in the actual recording of voice tracks. The only thing we need to do is to actually pull down the fader on the desk so that there is no sound coming through the speakers. That's the only control you touch on the desk. You do not touch any others because the desk is actually helping the computer put the current program to air while we're actually recording separately into the same computer. So you don't touch the microphone buttons on the desk because otherwise that will switch you live to air, and we don't want to do that. We're going to use your microphone for recording. So only the announcer's microphone works. We pull down the fader so there's no sound in the studio because the microphone will pick up any sound while you're recording. So to actually voice track, we have to select a position in the playlist where we want to insert the voice track, even though it doesn't exist at the moment. So we click on a track. Bear in mind that we're playing further up the track, but we click on a track and the voice track will be made and inserted immediately before this track that we've just clicked on. Now if we don't select a track, the following will not work. So having selected a track, we can now press the V for victory key on the computer keyboard, and up will come the voice track software. Now you'll notice here I've actually got a microphone hooked up to the voice tracker to simulate the studio microphone, and you'll see that the level is going up and down, and that's because the microphone is live all the time into the voice track software. But the counter here is not changing and you'll also notice that there's been a voice track file name generated here automatically by the computer, and although that mentions a date and time, it's not the actual time that that voice track needs to actually play. It doesn't take any notice of the actual file name when it plays. It's just a name that's inserted in the playlist, and it will play that file when it comes across it in the playlist. So you can in actual fact record it and then move it if you want to, like you can any other audio file. So now we're sitting here waiting and we're not doing anything. So to actually make it start recording, we press the Enter key on the keyboard. And away it goes. It's now recording. As you can see, the counter is incrementing to show that it's actually recording. And away it goes. Now, nothing else is happening because we're just recording, and it's invisible, it's behind the scenes. When we've finished, we actually press the enter key a second time, and it's now finished recording. But bear in mind, the microphone's still alive, but that's all right, it's not actually recording. We now have three options. We can preview it. If we clicked on preview, even though it's not in the playlist yet, it's invisible, it's stored in the computer. If we hit preview, it will play out through the speakers to the left of us, where you normally do a preview if you use the preview button up there. But this preview is from the VoiceTrack software. Now, that's fine. You'll find that after you've done a few recordings that you won't really want a preview at all. You then have two options. You can save or clear. Now, if you're happy with the recording, the way it all went, and you didn't sneeze or cough or choke or do anything like that, you can hit save and save the recording. Now, I won't hit it just yet because the other option is to hit the clear button. Now, if you hit the clear button with the mouse, it will completely wipe that recording out. It won't exist anymore, and you can then go in and record again without going to all the trouble of selecting where you want it. It'll assume it's going to go in the same place. So if you're not happy with it, clear it and start again. And again, you start again by hitting the enter key, recording, hit the enter key to stop recording, and then you have the option. So I'll save it now. And there's our voice track. Now, having saved it, you can, if you want to, move it around, but because you're probably going to be talking about what's coming up, you don't really want to move it past the tracks that are coming up. So, but it is possible. It's just a normal audio track, and it can be moved around. And if you really hit it by mistake and you don't want to save it, you can click on it and delete it like you can an audio file. But we'll assume that everything's okay and we want that to be there. So we'll now go down here and we'll decide we want to record another voice track there. So same thing, click on it with the mouse, then hit the V for victory key, and up we'll come, and you'll notice it's selected another name. Each name in Windows has to be unique. It can't have two file names with the same name. So that's why Voice Tracker chooses the date and the time, because you're not likely to record two voice tracks in the same minute. So we'll just say that we're going to record. So we're busy recording, it's counting. I finished recording, so I hit the enter key. I'm happy with the recording, and I hit save, and there's the second voice track. And you can do that as often as you like. And if the next hour is present, or you want to load the next hour, you can go down and voice track in that as well. And if you want to add the following hour again, so you're now 2 hours ahead, you can go and voice track in there as well. And it's best to voice track fairly frequently in the hour. I wouldn't just put one at the top of the hour and one at the bottom of the hour. It just sounds just like, you know, a jukebox playing then. But anyway, that's how you remote voice track, or you voice track in the studio, I should say. Very similar to remote voice tracking, except the remote voice tracker shows you a little bit more information because you can't see a playlist, and it has to show you what you're doing. So voice tracking is a very useful tool. You can use it for all sorts of things. You can for example, actually record the weather. If you get into the studio before you're due to start, you can record the weather as a voice track. And the other interesting thing is, because the name of the file has nothing to do with where it plays, you can actually copy that voice track when you've made it and paste it in the following hour, so that the same weather report is given the following hour, and the third hour as well. So that gives you lots of options to help you out with doing your program. So just remember, Only the announcer's microphone is live. Guest microphone has no part. Pull the fader down on the desk so you do not have sound coming out of the speakers, which will get recorded with you. And do not touch anything else on the desk. The computer is running, playing tracks. You do not turn your microphones on and off while you're recording the voice tracks. Otherwise it will go to air. We only want the audio to go into the voice track software. So that's voice tracking in the studio. It really is a handy means of adding to your program. You could voice track a couple of voice tracks to go out and talk to someone in the meeting room. If you do something like that, I would suggest you put the studio into automate while you're out of the room, just in case you don't quite get back in time to tick a few more tracks, and that way it will keep playing. That's that's voice tracking in the studio with Station Play.